1 2 1 2. Check 1 2 1 2.
Yes, but they released 2x.
Is this thing on? Right, brilliant. Let's get involved. So this is game 2 between Luke and SBMous without a name. SBMous. Anywho, the map is it's lost and found, isn't it? And here comes the worker to build a pylon for Luke, which is an excellent start. I always like to open with a pylon when I'm Protoss, and hopefully you feel the same way. So both players going for it, pylon-tastic. Luke isn't building workers, and that disturbs me a great deal. Again, he's gone for this slightly bizarre double pylon thing, and there's just no need for it, especially if it means you can't afford workers. You must build workers. Make that, you know, when you're practicing your scraft, choose a thing to focus on when you're practicing. Don't just arbitrarily practice. And a really useful thing to focus on is keep an eye on the supply, and for the first 7 minutes of the game, make sure you are never supply blocked and always building workers. And just get into the habit of that, and you'll be a better scrafter. So anyway, this looks like an incredibly standard sort of opening. Double gateway, single gas, very, very normal for a Protoss. And on the other side of the map, it is almost identical. Slightly later, oh hang on, who's got a forge? Oh, this isn't double gateway, it's gateway forge. Okay, bit weird. SBMous did build a forge in the last game, and I don't remember him actually doing anything with it. I don't think there were any cannons, and I don't remember seeing any upgrades in the production tab either, but maybe they happened and I just missed it. If I was better at sort of looking at the, you know, the things that are going on in the game, I would be a better scrafter myself. Alrighty, these guys are throwing out a couple of zealots. They'll be out shortly. If you're Luke right now, what you need to be building is a cybernetics core. There it is. That's good work, Luke. This is like backwards in time mind control or something. You need to get a third worker in there and get your gas income up. In the last game, Luke had an enormous mineral bank, but no gas, and therefore could not really afford to build the units he needed to fight an air army. So don't make that mistake again. This little worker is just hanging out. And I don't mind that. Parking a worker somewhere like this is not a crazy thing to do, because this worker, if you look at the position of it, if anything moves out of your opponent's base to make its way across the map, oh, he's dead, your worker will see it. And bear in mind, if the worker is parked here, if a little crowd of zealots make their way out and they hack that worker down, you get the little alert, you get the, oh, your worker's been attacked. When you get that alert, if you tap space as soon as you hear it, it will take you to the scene of where whatever the alert is happening. That's a top tip, that is. You can have that for free. Up in here, second gas building. Oh, look. Maybe there was an upgrade in the last game. I can't remember. I didn't notice if there was. Air, +1 air as well. Now, if you're planning an air build, I don't see a Stargate yet, so a bit weird to get the upgrade before you can even build any air. I don't like that. If you are planning air, then the better upgrade from the Forge is probably shields, because that affects all of your units, including air units. Whereas this is only going to affect your ground army. Yeah, definitely it would be weird to get this if you weren't planning to build a fleet. So hopefully we're going to see the Golden Armada. You know, what I'd love to see is a bunch of carriers. You know, just go for it, balls to the wall, no units until you've got 6 carriers on the map, and then just fly for the victory. I don't think that's what's going to happen here today. Luke is actually going to be first to get the Stargate done. So that's interesting. SBMous researching this like he's going to go Void Rays again, but no Stargate just yet. So let's have a peek at the army supply, see what's happening here. A marginal difference and a slight worker lead as well. What's that doing to the income? Not very much actually in terms of minerals, but there is a reasonable difference in gas income. Gas is important. You know, StarCraft is a game where a lot of what you would like to do is limited by gas rather than by minerals. This little fella, the Protoss Observer, is a fantastic little beast, permanently cloaked and with a long vision range. So you can send this across the map, you can park it in various places. If I just show you what an observer looks like from your opponent's point of view, I can't do that because he's got no units here, has he? Don't mind me, folks. Honestly, I have played this game before. I honestly have. I don't know what I was thinking. A little bit later, when this gets across the map, I'll show you what it looks like for the other player, and I'll give you some tips on how you can spot an observer if you suspect your opponent's got one. These guys just chilling out, they're just standing in a line, waiting to be told what to do. SBMous, tell them what to do. Don't forget that your original base automatically rallies workers to your mineral line, but subsequent bases do not do that. So you have to click on this nexus, right click the mineral line, and that will automatically rally your workers and get them mining for you. 2 gases here standing idle, but presumably we are very soon going to see those get used. Continually upgrades coming out from SBMous, so he's going to have a well upgraded army if nothing else, and 3 Stargates coming down eventually. So +1 air already done, and these 3 Stargates are going to allow presumably production of Void Rays to happen 3 at a time. That could be devastating. Will Luke scout this? Will he go and have a look? Here it comes. Let's have a peeky. Right, this time I will be able to show you what an observer looks like. So this is what SBMous sees. See the little ripple? See that little fella? Hard to see, isn't it? Hard to spot. And he's now put it into this sort of mode where... oh no, maybe he hasn't. You can put this in surveillance mode where it has an increased sight range, but it can't move, and that can be really useful, especially if you're a fan of slapping F2 to grab your whole army, because once these are in surveillance mode, they don't move, so if you grab your whole army, that stays there. Yeah, check it out. See the little ripple? Hard to spot. One of the tricks that the people tend to use, if you suspect there's one, use the insert delete to pan the camera, because it makes it instantly easier to see. These cannons are of course detectors, so they reveal the cloaked unit and kill it. Haha! However, it's all too late because the game is up. Luke has seen all. He has seen the triple Stargate, and he is currently at home thinking, aha, triple Stargate. There will be flying things, many thereof. I shall build stuff that doesn't kill them. This is the most depressing queue I've ever seen as a response to Stargate play. These Phoenixes are great, but not in a stand-up fight against Void Rays. A Phoenix essentially tickles a Void Ray. It comes up to it and it sort of annoyingly jabs it, maybe prods it in the belly button a few times until eventually the Void Ray goes, right, I've had enough of you, and shoots the Phoenix in the face, crushing it. This queue is a bit worrying. The total cost of this queue would buy you 3 new Stargates. So, anywho, yeah, these Immortals, this is going to be unfortunate, I feel. Let's have a peek at the army supply, very even at present, but, you know, right now, if Luke goes across the map, he wins. These Immortals laugh in the face of cannons. Literally, they mock them. So, microed correctly, this army just wins. The Stalkers, the way to do it would be make sure you've got Zealots to the front. Make sure your Stalkers are focusing these. So, highlight your Stalkers, you're right-clicking on the Void Rays one at a time. You've got to kill those Void Rays. And then let your Immortals do the damage on the ground. Unfortunately, though, Void Rays continue to be produced, and there will come a time, and in fact now 4 Void Rays, you probably don't have enough Stalkers to deal with 4. With the Phoenix as well, maybe just about. You need more Stalkers than they've got Void Rays, certainly. And once this is up to sort of 6 or 8 Void Rays, you're quickly getting to that sort of critical mass point where you're just not going to be able to kill them without something very special. I don't even know what that was. What was that? What even was that? Who knows? But it died. Ooh. That's the button that turns on all the health bars, look. No way. You literally learn something new every single day. Look, APMs, look at them go. Busy, busy, busy. That's good. It's all good. So stuff is happening. SBMous looking pretty convincing here up on 3 bases. Must have a mighty income. Yeah, look at that compared to earlier in the game. You know, this is an enormous income. One thing you've got to be careful of, and that sometimes, yes, that's exactly what you need to do. As your income increases, you have more and more money, so you need more ways to spend it. So this is exactly what you need to do. Go ham, just go nuts, build loads of gateways, literally loads of them. I have ended games with 24 gateways, so that literally I've got an entire tab of gateways. So that if I glance up in the top right and realize, whoops, I've got a lot of money, I can just hold the W button and slap down 24 zealots. Just insta. Which is a real bonus, and that can kill things. That is a lot of Stargate, an awful lot of Stargate. I would like to see the fleet beacon come down so that we could get carriers, something a bit fancier than skill rays. Skill rays, as they're affectionately referred to on the ladder, because, you know, skill rays. This army, unfortunately, you know, there are some voids in here. There are some well, that's a reasonable number of stalkers. They are without upgrades, though, and I feel that the numbers of void rays here, I feel this is going to look a bit one-sided again. These void rays, especially if prismatic alignment is triggered, will smash most of this stuff very quickly indeed. They'll eat through the stalkers. The AI will automatically focus the things. You know, a unit will automatically shoot anything that it is shooting it. So if those void rays are left to their own devices, they will automatically attack the things that shoot them. So they'll automatically focus the things that can shoot up first, leaving behind these defenseless immortals, etc. That's a lot of immortal. You know, look at this army supply. Luke has got the bigger army. He has got a huge amount of firepower in this army. If he was mobile with this, you know, you could just walk over here, one-shot this base, and recall your stuff back. And that would give your opponent a bit of a headache. As it is, these are kind of trapped together in a choke. I feel this engagement may not go well. This is not a great place to stand. You're much better here, because if your army is here, it can be spread out, but when your opponent attacks, they're forced to come through a narrow bit. So you have a spread out army that can all shoot against a choked army where only the front units can shoot, and that's definitely where you want to be. In this position, these zealots at the back, this guy, he's never going to swing a sword, is he? Because there's all immortals and stuff in his way. It's like he can hear me. He can hear me, of course. He's in the room, but he wasn't while he was playing. So let's see how this goes. A lot of void rays are shooting, a lot of stuff is dying. It is chaos here, but I feel that these void rays are not going to drop in number nearly enough. Luke needs to be focusing these one at a time. What you don't want is to damage a lot of them. You want to kill. It's, you know, actually closer than I thought it would be. Only a handful of void rays left, but more are coming to join the party. These immortals now have nothing to protect them. They need to run. Where are they going to run to? I don't know. I don't know why SBMous is turning around. I don't know why you wouldn't just wait in there and finish it. So I don't know. Look, I feel, you know, both these battles have looked a little bit one-sided, and I don't think actually Luke did too badly at all. He just didn't have the right unit composition. These Phoenix are not going to help. They're going to die very quickly and not really kill anything at all. So it is GG at this point. There is just too much Void Ray here for anything that Luke can produce to be able to deal with. SBMous has played a pretty good game though. Look at him. You know, up on 3 bases, loads of production. We won't worry about that bank, but that's what I'm talking about. Look at what just happened. Hang on. That's a bit of overkill. This is exactly what I'm talking about. Once you're up on large numbers of bases, it's so important to have a lot of production, because you know you are going to get engaged in battles, you are going to get distracted, and when you've got a 3 base income, these numbers go up awfully quickly, and all of a sudden you realize you look in the corner of the screen and you go, oops, I've got a lot of money. And if you've only got like 2 gateways, there's nothing you can do about that. If you've got this many Stargates, you can look in this top right corner and go, oh, I'll just spend that, bosh. And you are building Void Rays, you know, 6 at a time, which is savagery. So I feel we're going to see a GG soon, either a GG or a really salty worker just head off into the corner here to build a nexus where they'd least suspect it. One of those 2 things is bound to happen. This Phoenix is not going to last long, I fear. He did get a shot off, so you know that's something. At least I poked one of them in the belly button. The Stalkers are coming to join the fray as well. It is over, and both players, I'm sure, know it. Where is no salty workers? Luke is furiously clinging on here. He's building some new gateways, but unfortunately 2 gateways will not be able to produce the sort of quantity of Stalkers you're going to need, especially when your opponent has got 6 get production of Void Rays. There's the fleet beacon. Has arrived at last. Now, interestingly, he's had an upgrade out of this, and it's the Phoenix range upgrade. I don't think he's ever built a single Phoenix, so not sure about that one. You know, the Phoenix range upgrade is brilliant. Phoenix in general are good units. They do need a bit of micro, they need a bit of getting used to. So if you haven't used them before, don't expect to be able to just build a bunch of Phoenix and automatically win. That isn't going to happen, but they're definitely worth experimenting with. If you get the hang of Phoenix, you can do a lot of damage with them. You can use them to harass your opponent. They're very, very fast. In general, you don't want like an enormous fleet of them. You only want about 6 Phoenix, and you want to use that to nip around the back of your opponent's base and kill all his workers and then get out again. They can be useful in a straight up fight, but only in a support role. Oh look! It's a mama ship! Yay! And it's also all over. That's a shame. GG!